One of the most common questions in the fitness industry, or more specifically in the fat loss industry, is should we track calories to lose body fat or to lose weight? It's a question that I get fairly regularly, and in today's video, I'm going to talk you through the pros and the cons of tracking calories, also some of the other options that are out there, because tracking calories isn't the only way to lose body fat. So if you're watching this and you're somebody that wants to lose some body fat, wants to lose some weight, and maybe tracking calories or whether you should or shouldn't track calories is something that you're a little bit unsure of, then this video is for you. So let's get into the video. So as I've already said, we're going to be discussing whether or not you should be tracking calories. I'm going to talk you through the pros and the cons of this. I'm going to give you my honest opinion, and this honest opinion is based on practical advice, not theory. It's based on everything that I've learned in my career, all the people that I've worked with, all the people that I've helped lose body fat, amongst other goals as well. So you can see on the screen here, I'm going to come out with it right now. I am pro tracking. Okay, so I am all in for tracking our calories. However, I need to put some context on this and I need to explain why, okay, which is obviously important. So why tracking actually works. So if I explain it this way, most people that come to me want to lose weight, want to lose body fat, and most people are unsure around nutrition, or they have issues around nutrition, okay? So they've got all this freedom, so they can eat whatever they want, whenever they want. They have no structure around nutrition. So in my opinion, to leave these people with that freedom, complete freedom of all the foods and choosing whatever they want, in my opinion, that is why they are in that mess in the first place, because they have all this freedom, they have no structure. So for me not to give them structure around a meal plan or tracking food, I feel like I'm not helping them there. Okay, people that struggle with nutrition need tighter boundaries. They don't need more freedom. Okay, now there are other ways of monitoring food that you could consider as being structure as well. Like, for example, there's the precision nutrition method, which is essentially a fist of this, a palm of that, a fist of the other. So you can give people guidelines like that without physically counting numbers. However, in my opinion, tracking calories is the thing that's going to give people the most structure. And essentially, that is what people need. Okay, so it's framework. You're giving people, again, this relates back to structure. You're giving people framework. Okay, so it gives people the opportunity to track, and not only track their food, but understand what they are doing. Okay, it educates them as well. And you can see here it says chaos prevention. Links back to everything I've just said, really. At the moment, or when people come to me, they are confused, they have complete freedom, and nutrition is pretty chaotic, to be fair. So if we can add some structure to that, we remove that chaos, we educate, and also we get results pretty quickly. Okay, so that is why I am pro tracking calories. And then this is another important slide to go through here. So it's not forever. Some people, or often the kickback I will get with tracking calories is one, oh, it's a bit obsessive, or I don't want to do that forever. And I'll come on to the obsessive comment a little later, because I've got an analogy that I want to go through with the obsessive comment. But the tracking calories, I don't want to be doing this forever. Absolutely, like, you shouldn't track calories forever. So how I want you to see this is, tracking calories is a tool. So if you use MyFitnessPal, for example, probably the best app out there for it. If you use MyFitnessPal, it's a tool that you can use as and when. So let's say you want to lose 20 kilos. So you've got a reasonably big fat loss goal at the start of your journey. You're going to use MyFitnessPal a lot. You might use it for 6 to 12 months potentially to get rid of that 20 kilos. Once you've got rid of that 20 kilos and you've educated yourself on nutrition, you know what's what, you can then come away from tracking. It's called intuitive eating, but no one can intuitively eat without learning what's what. So you take myself, for example, I don't track food ever really, unless I want to go into a fat loss phase. If I go into a fat loss phase, I'll start tracking my calories. But the reason I can eat food every day and not gain weight and understand what I'm eating isn't because of my fitness qualifications. It's because I've tracked for many years in the past and I understand what is what. You earn the right to intuitively eat. Okay, so the goal isn't forever. It's a tool. You're going to use it to get to your goal, and then you can use it whenever you want in the future. So let's say, for example, you lose your 20 kilos. 6 months later, you book a holiday and you want to, maybe you've put on a few pounds or something, but generally stayed around the same because you've learned a lot through your tracking and you've not just piled it all back on. Your habits are good, your lifestyle habits are all good, but you want to lean up a little bit for holiday. You can pick MyFitnessPal up again and you can have another stint to bring a few pounds down for your holiday, and you can pick it up whenever you use it. So you can see down here, we've got dip in and out whenever you need it. Okay, so again here, learning portion controls. This is all part of the learning, so you can intuitively eat. Okay, so we'll move down. So there are alternatives, as I said at the start. I see people talk about this on social media a lot, and one of the things I've learned in my career is you shouldn't rubbish any method. Okay, because I do truly believe there's a time and a place for everything, depending on the person, depending on the situation. Okay, so some people, it's rare, very rare, but maybe people with eating conditions or previous eating conditions, tracking might not be the best for them from a mental point of view. Maybe. So there are other options and they may work for some people. Okay, so you should never rubbish these. So portion control techniques, the precision nutrition method. Building healthy habits, so just educating people on nutrition a little bit more. And again, strategic food swaps, so just getting people to swap, obviously bad things out for, or obviously higher calorie things out, should I say, for lower calorie foods. Okay, but with these methods, in my opinion, there is a lot more room for error. Okay, so I do know a few coaches that preach this, but in all honesty, results are much harder to achieve. It's a real, if you could do this and get great results, then amazing. That'd be great. Okay. If I could say to all my clients, you don't need to track your calories, we can just make these small changes and we get these outstanding results, then great. I'm all for it. I'm not anti this method at all. The reason I prefer tracking calories so much is because we get good results. We get good results, we educate clients quickly, and they obviously learn how to maintain that for the rest of their lives as well. They not only get the result, they understand what's what with nutrition, and they know when they can drop back into that as and when they need to in the future. You can get good results with these methods, but they're much, much slower because there's far more room for error, But I'm not rubbishing them. They are still options. Okay, so as I say here, the reality is, yes, you can still lose without tracking, but in my opinion, it's far less reliable than tracking calories. So I mentioned earlier I was going to come on to the analogy around obsessiveness. So sometimes some people say, don't want to track calories, it's a bit obsessive. Okay, fair enough. I understand your point. I get where you're coming from. However, if we summarize this up in financial terms, so the money analogy, if you were struggling with your money, okay, and you wanted to save some money and you weren't saving any money and you wanted some advice from maybe a financial advisor, they would ask you to start monitoring your money. They'd ask you to monitor what's coming in, what's going out, manage your bank account probably on a daily basis to see where you are, so you could hit your target each month for what you're trying to save, or it might even be a target each week for what you're trying to save. You probably wouldn't say that is obsessive. You'd say, yeah, fair enough, that makes sense. So why wouldn't you have the same approach for your health, your calories, your fat loss? Okay, so you could save money in other ways to counter this. So you don't have to check your bank balance. You don't have to monitor your outgoings to save money. You could just make some more sensible decisions through the month and be a bit more relaxed with it, and then get to the end of the month and see what's left. That might work. It's not saying it won't work, but the person who's doing that method, the more relaxed method of maybe just making some small changes, not looking at the bank too often and not looking into it too much, versus the person who is managing their outgoings on a daily basis and checking their bank balance on a daily basis, that person's going to get much better results. And that's exactly the same with tracking calories versus not tracking calories. So the bottom line: awareness, not restriction. So tracking calories doesn't have to be this boring, laborious task that you absolutely hate. It should be an educational task that you're doing that takes so little time each day that you have confidence in that you're going to get great results off the back off. All my clients get fantastic fat loss results. You know, I've had clients this year lose over 35 kilos using these tactics, and multiple clients lose between 10 and 15 kilos. Okay, so it's a short-term tool, as I explained earlier. It's not a forever thing. It's something you're going to use short-term to get a great result, educate yourself, and then it's there for you to drop in and out of whenever you want. Okay, and as it says there, long-term freedom. If you can get to your goal, that's what I want to help most people do, get to your goal. A lot of people spend ages worrying about how they're going to get there and all kinds of things like that, but all I want you to do is get there. When you can get to your goal, if we can get 10 kilos off, 15 kilos off, 20 kilos off, we can worry about how we're going to sustain that then. Okay, and the best method for doing that is tracking your calories, obviously along with multiple other things. Your steps, your exercise, your hydration, your sleep, your stress management, all those kind of things are all super important. But from a nutrition point of view and a tracking point of view, tracking will get you there as quickly as possible. Okay, so I hope this video has been useful. If it was, drop me a comment. Let me know. If you're unsure of anything that I've spoken about, then just drop me a message. I'll be happy to help. If you've enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel and go over and follow me on Instagram if you're not already. And if you're interested in further help, I offer a free 7-day fat loss program, okay, which is a 7-day program, as the name suggests. It's fed to you via email, and it talks you through information like this video, along with a whole host of other things to get you started on your fat loss journey. So thank you for watching, and I will speak to you soon.